The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own urine, or being beheaded by a group of children in a cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror. Listener discretion is advised.
The Cryptid Files is a weekly discussion and debate covering all things cryptid. Mysterious and terrifying creatures are our passion. Join us each week as we bring you groundbreaking interviews and accounts, info from research in the field, as well as data and experiences of our own. From the widely known cryptids to the most strange and obscure, we want to believe. Do you?
Don't remember. But there it is. Yeah, well, welcome to the Cryptid Files.
Welcome,
if you don't catch
everybody.
us. For some reason, the Record app is giving me a really hard time with Spreaker. But welcome to the show. I'm John.
Yes, I'm Cindy, and we're your hosts for this show.
There it is. See?
Yeah.
We caught up. All right. So
I hope you guys have had a great week.
Yeah, it's Saturday.
And it's fall. Man, I'll tell you what, I love this time of year so much. Because, you know, the leaves are changing and we are in a beautiful area. And it's amazing. It's wonderful. I've shared some pictures actually on my Facebook that I took this week when I was going for a walk. They're so pretty. So go look on my Facebook and you'll see those. It's not only fall, it's also Halloween time, which means get your scare on. I scared John this week.
Yeah, not funny.
Great. This is not funny at all.
Not funny.
It is not funny. It's not funny.
It's fucking hilarious to you. That was not funny. That set the mood for me for the rest of the day. It's
almost, not quite, but it's almost like when he gets scared when we go out at night and things start happening. I wouldn't so much call it scared as much as it's, what is it?
Horrifying.
Well, anyway, so yeah, it's scare season, and I love to scare, so we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, and now I just want to go out and say I do not scare her at all.
No, he doesn't.
I don't, but it's okay to scare John. You know, it's totally like what Uncle Ricky says. Exactly. So tonight, we are going to be discussing a cryptid that we're not sure if it exists or it doesn't.
I got this one. And, yeah, we're discussing a cryptid that I don't much consider a cryptid.
No.
I really don't. Sorry.
No.
You know me and my stance on all this stuff. It's cryptid hunting season right now. But this is one cryptid you're not going to find.
Never.
And I'll tell you why. Because it's not a cryptid. There, I said it. The end. Show's over.
All right, everybody, have a good night, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Okay, so this is it's
Unplugged again.
That's good time. So we
no, we're still going.
Okay.
We're still as far as let me look.
Okay, I'll stop beating around the bush.
Wait. All right, go ahead.
I'll stop beating around the bush. We're talking about El Chupacabra.
chupacabra.
Also known as the goat sucker. Now,
Goat sucker.
first, it's a goat sucker. It sucks goats.
What part of the goat does it suck?
The blood.
That's not a part.
It's on the neck.
Well, I guess it is a part. Yep.
Yeah.
On the neck.
On the neck of the goat.
Like I'm going to wring the neck of some of those children down the
Yeah,
hallway.
you're not lying. El Chupacabra is going to go loose on the kids.
Yeah.
So it's this little thing. And by the way, that is not okay.
That's not a chupacabra.
That's a really sore depiction. That's like some kind of lizard.
It looks like Aquaman.
It did. A very small Aquaman. El Chupacabra is the goat sucker. I'm not afraid of a goat sucker. First of all, okay? So it's not a horrifying, scary creature. And secondly, it is so easily explained away that it is just mind-blowing.
It's from Puerto Rico and Mexico.
Yes, it is of
in the United States.
Latin lineage of sorts. But you go ahead and do your little rundown, your 4-on-1 on El Chupacabra from Wikipedia.
All right. So, chupacabra or chupacabras literally means the goat sucker. Chupar, to suck. And cabras is the goat. It's a legendary creature in the folklore of parts of the Americas. With its first purported sighting reported in Puerto Rico in 1995, the name comes from the animal's reported vampirism. The chupacabra is said to attack and drink the blood of livestock, including goats. Physical description of the creature varies. It is purportedly a heavy creature the size of a small bear, with a row of spines reach from the neck to the base of the tail. Eyewitness sightings have been claimed in Puerto Rico and have since been reported as far north as Maine in the United States, for those that don't know. As far south as Chile. And even outside the Americas in countries like Russia and the Philippines. Many of the reports have been disregarded as uncorroborated or lacking evidence. Sightings in northern Mexico and southern United States have been verified as canids affected by mange. According to biologists and wildlife management officials, the chupacabra is only an urban legend.
I like that. I really do like that. There's not a whole lot to go on. There's a lot of hearsay. And you can go ahead and read that history if you want.
Well, I kind of already touched on it. So they say that the first reported sighting was back in 1995.
Wow.
Yeah, in Puerto Rico. That was the first place. 8 sheep were discovered dead, each with 3 puncture wounds in the chest area, and reported completely drained of blood. A few months later, in August, an eyewitness named Madeline Tolentino reported seeing the creature in a Puerto Rican town of Canovas. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing the name wrong. When as many as 150 farm animals and pets were reportedly killed. In 1975, similar killings in the small town of Moca were attributed to the El Vampiro de Moca, the vampire of Moca. Initially, it was suspected that the killings were committed by a satanic cult, which wouldn't surprise me. Later, more killings were reported around the islands, and many farms reported loss of animal life. Each of the animals were reported to have the body bled dry through a series of small circular incisions. Puerto Rican comedian and entrepreneur Silvero Perez is credited with coining the term of chupacabras soon after the first incidents were reported in the press. Shortly after the first incident, I don't know why this thing repeats itself, in Puerto Rico, other animal deaths were reported in other countries such as the Dominican Republic, Argentina, Bolivia, Chile, Colombia, Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Panama, Peru, Brazil, and Mexico. In October and December of 2018, there came many reports of suspected chupacabras in Manipur, India. Many domestic animals and poultry were killed in a suspicious manner similar to other chupacabra attacks, and several people reported that they had seen chupacabras. However, forensic experts opined that street dogs were responsible for mass killings of domestic animals and poultry after studying the remnants of a corpse. In October of 2019, a video recorded by Mundo Ovni, the names are not really easy to pronounce, showed a supposed attack on chickens
in some sector of Lares, Puerto Rico.
That's not what that says.
Yeah, I know. You're
just guessing, aren't you?
No, I just went right over that one.
In a sector of Puerto Rico.
In a sector of Puerto Rico.
See, she made it sound good.
Puerto Rico. Okay, so that is the gist of the chupacabra. It is.
I got the appearance, if we want to read that too.
It's totally up to you. Go ahead.
I mean, we'll just break it down in a nutshell. Some people say it's a dog with mange. Others say it's reptilian, greenish-gray skin,
scaly,
sharp spines or quills running down its back, approximately 3 to 4 feet long. Stands similar fashion of a kangaroo. Other descriptions are a strange breed of wild dog, hairless, that have spine ridges, fangs, claws, that kind of thing. It basically looks like a hairless dog.
Well, here's the thing. When a dog is sick and it loses weight, you can see the spine.
Yeah.
And if you add the fact that it has mange, it looks scaly, and they turn gray.
Yeah.
So, and then the spines, as far as this porcupine quill spines, if you have hair that is growing still in between the mange, it's going to look like quills. So, and also a dog that is that sick, what are they going to do? They're going to go after easy prey.
Yeah, they're not going to want to chase it.
No, and easy prey would be livestock and or chickens, goats, whatever.
Just like the farmers do to the goats, get them all next to the cliff and they push back.
Yeah. Small animals, all that. So this one's way too easily explained.
Way too easily explained.
And, there's a video circulating of a police officer, I think it was in Arizona, or some sort of code enforcement, I don't remember, who recorded a video of this canid type creature that looked all wrong, they said. And I think that it ended up that they did shoot it, or it died of some fashion, and swore that it was a chupacabra. In reality, all it is a mangy dog.
Yeah.
Mangy coyotes.
I mean, look, we're looking at one here. Yeah.
Mangy coyotes make up for a large percentage of a report of the chupacabra, which there are coyotes in Mexico, in down in Puerto Rico, all those areas up here in the U.S. It's pretty normal for coyotes to be around. So if you get mangy coyotes, people are going to say, "Oh my God, it's a chupacabra." Or even in areas where there are populations of wild dogs get mange. They don't look right, and if it's people who are not as educated, they're going to think it's some sort of monster. So, El Chupacabra.
So they, just kind of going through here, they're actually saying that the Chupacabra could be a kinkajou.
Yeah.
Not a pinkajou.
No, a kinkajou.
Yeah, a kinkajou.
Yeah, most people don't know what a kinkajou is, but I do.
It's actually it's related to the raccoon.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. But they're not that carnivorous. They're not carnivorous. They eat, they are, but they don't eat or drain blood of animals.
Well, you got to think, okay, if these animals are weak because they are sick, and they're going to try to kill an animal, but they're not, because they're so weak and in a weakened state, they need that protein. They need that iron and all those nutrients that they're missing, which are in an animal's blood. So, if they can't, they're not strong enough to kill the animal and eat the flesh and all, just puncturing and licking the blood. Not to say they're going to drain all the blood, but I mean, if you see an animal laying dead and it's got puncture wounds in it, but there's no blood around, you're going to automatically say, oh my God, it's drained of all its blood. It was a chupacabra. When in reality, it could have just been a very sickly animal.
They're also saying that there's 2 common versions of the chupacabra. There's a reptilian kind, but the true chupacabra is a canid, a dog, which are also called blue dogs.
Yeah, and again, though, like we said, if an animal has mange that badly, the skin is going to look reptilian. It's going to look scaly.
Yeah.
I mean, you can look that up. That's why this one I have trouble with.
Yeah.
It's not an intimidating cryptid by any means. A, and B, she's so cute. Our poor puppy dog is missing her
teenager.
Yes, and so she's sitting and staring at us and giving us the little sad puppy eyes.
Doing the big dog wobble with the front paw.
Poor puppy. But so this is why I have been reluctant to do chupacabra.
It's just as good as the rake and the Slenderman.
Actually, it's not, because this one is just
total BS.
Yeah, it's a deflated balloon cryptid.
Kind of like Bigfoot.
Oh, well, let's not even go there.
Them's fighting voids.
How bad do you want ratings? Because we can get them.
I'll believe it when I see it.
That's good. You didn't really get there. I'm like
How about that? It's like I told David Bacard today when I talked to him. Expedition Bigfoot, great place to go down here in Cherry Log, Georgia. Gotta go if you're in the area.
Yes, you do.
David Bacard, Melinda Bacard, great people, awesome people. Don't tell them you know us. No, I'm just kidding.
Tell them you know us. We had to stop by today. We stopped by, as much as we can. But we always stop by to support them because they're a local business and they are ridiculously amazing. It is the biggest Bigfoot museum in the world.
And they're going to be opening one up in Florida. But I didn't tell you that.
Yes, they have. They're a swamp skunk ape museum.
Yeah, it's going to be basically based on the same thing.
It's amazing, guys. These people have gone above and beyond what you could imagine. They are, first of all, such great people and very humble and down to earth.
Yeah.
And they know so many people in the paranormal, in the cryptid field. Yeah. Or switching gears, we went from one show to the other. But they're super awesome. And when I went in there the first time several years ago.
Oh, excuse me.
I had been wanting to go for so long, and I was so blown away by what they've done.
They got Bigfoot poop.
They do. A cast. And just they've done such amazing things. And I've seen the place grow. And it's amazing. It's wonderful. Yeah. And if you ever get the opportunity, if you're ever in the area, you have got to go there. If you're an aficionado of cryptid Bigfoot, or if you're a researcher, investigator, it's something that you have to do. It's a must. Yeah. It absolutely is.
So I was looking at their, we done talking about it? Mm-hmm. Okay. So we were in the Bigfoot Museum today, and I was looking at, I always go in there and I look at the sighting map just to see if anything's changed.
Yes, because they do add to it often.
And it's funny that we're actually looking into a case. It's been a little while. We've been looking at it and researching it and listening. You might have seen some of our Facebook Lives from the location. And it's funny that they have two, what do you call it?
2 pins?
No, what do you call it? Sightings?
Sightings, yes.
They had reports. 2 sighting reports of a Bigfoot in the area that we've been looking at.
Yes, absolutely.
So I know we're in the right area now.
Yeah, and it kind of backs up my theory about the migration happening at this time of year. Yeah, they're pretty active right now.
Then we need to go look at that sighting map more. Well, actually, he's not taking any more.
Not right this minute.
Yeah, he's not taking it anymore.
He is, but he's not doing it himself. Yeah. He's really busy, so he is taking it.
Which we did. And if David and Melinda are listening, we're still willing to help. Just give us a yell.
Absolutely. We go in there to get stickers because
stickers, hats,
have to. Whatever we need. Any of your Bigfoot essentials. your Bigfoot slippers,
shirts, hats,
yes,
dolls,
sweatshirts, jackets, cups, mugs,
you name it.
Bumper stickers.
Surprised he's not
magnets.
doing tattoos out of there yet.
That's great. They have a lot of interesting facts. They have a lot of evidence. They have some casts, but they have so much more.
Yep.
And it's very interactive.
They actually redid the place a little bit.
I know.
I saw that.
Yeah.
They had a lot of casts.
Lots.
Yeah.
It's a very interactive place. They have a little lab where they have all this stuff, like, comparisons of like hair for samples of common animals and of not, like, what they can't decipher. They have movies running. They have videos in two separate spaces in the museum. They have got, anything from sightings to legend to research to, you name it, they have it.
Yeah.
It's a one-stop shop for Bigfoot info. And pick something up on the way out. They're great. And they definitely, he keeps you updated on things. He keeps updated on sightings, and they're just great people. It is something you have to do if you are interested in Sasquatch in any capacity. It's something that you really should consider taking a trip and going there.
So they're 1934 Highway 515 South is the museum and gift shop. And they open at 10 a.m. tomorrow. So if you go down there, make sure you tell them John and Cindy sent you. And he'll know who you're talking about, because we go in there quite a bit and we talk to them quite a bit. If you ever talk to David about Bigfoot, he won't answer whether it's real or not. He listens to everything you say with a very open mind. I have never even heard him talk about his own experiences. If you ask him what he thinks, he answers it without answering it. It's just one of those kind. He wants you to think he wants you to believe what you want to believe. Like I told him today, I am not a huge believer in the big guy. But you know what he said to me? There's going to be a point in time, and I think he's speaking from experience. There's going to be a point in time where something is going to happen, and it's going to jar you so bad you will never forget it.
Yep.
And he goes, and that'll make you a believer. I said, well, I'm a believe it when I see it kind of guy. I'm not this. And I told him about an experience that I had out when we were researching a claim of a call and response, or a sighting actually. And I told him about my experience of the hands clapping or rocks clacking together. And he's like, yep. He didn't say anything. That's all I said. Yep. Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
They're really good at what they do, and it's because they're very passionate about it.
Yeah.
And I have never, they're priceless people, and it's great to go and be able to have that resource being where we are, especially.
Yeah.
And to be able to bounce things off of somebody.
He's even got a lab. If we found hair samples that we weren't exactly sure what it was, we could give it to him and he could tell us what it is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's great to have there. And we're just happy to be in the same area.
Yeah.
It's a dream come true for me because, I had my experience that was a make or break for me. Well, not a make or break, but it was an eye opener when I was very young. And that kind of changed everything for me. So I'm hoping to have more of those experiences. That's what I want.
Oh, well.
Because I'm like tearing through the woods, like, head first, ready to go. And then I have John, like, he's got me on a leash going, stop.
Well, if I turn around and I'm not paying attention, she's gone and I have no idea where she went. It's like, going into Walmart to buy clothes and you say, hey, I'm just going to run over to the camping section. I'll be right back. And you come back to the camping section and she's gone. And then you got to either stand there like you're lost and wait for her to find you, or you got to try and find her.
Except it's the woods.
Yeah.
And I do tend to get curious because, I'm out there for a reason. And, if you're researching and investigating, you got to research and investigate. And I just sometimes just got to get carried away with it and just do my own thing. And he's like, oh, hold on. So he's kind of my He's my tether. He keeps me safer and grounded more than I would be.
Like I said, I take my eyes off for 2 seconds, and she's already quarter mile down, and I can't get to her quick enough.
Sorry.
So I'm glad I just carry around that boomstick when we're outside. I'm a good shot too. So.
Well, I feel like if you are out there and you're investigating, you have to put yourself. I'm not going to say put yourself in danger.
Oh, she puts herself in danger.
No, you have to put yourself in the place where you're going to have the experience in order to research how else are you going to do it.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. And when I'm out there, I'm just kind of in another zone.
Oh, yeah. She's in another zone, all right.
Because when most people are just hiking, I'm looking and I'm thinking and I'm processing. And I'm like noticing every little bitty thing. Because you never know. Yeah. So that's what I do. And I get so caught up in it. I just.
So do you have that picture of the foot chart with you?
I absolutely do.
Where is it? Let's talk about this.
Let's do it.
Considering the chupacabra was short-lived.
I knew it would be. I'm so glad to have that just out of my life. You have no idea. It's
there.
Gone.
It is, chupacabra. Really short and sweet, but
just like the chupacabra, real short and sweet. Maybe. No, because they don't exist.
They don't.
Right.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. All right, we're going to...
Please tell me you took it.
I did. I absolutely did.
Because this is actually kind of fascinating. Just to give you an idea, look in your camera.
I'm looking on my camera.
You see, I will find it.
He's the master.
You probably didn't take it.
I know I took it.
Mm.
Did we take it with your camera?
I don't know.
I swear I took it.
I'm looking. Hold on.
This is just like our normal conversations on any given day. We don't know.
Nope, you didn't.
Dang it.
You did not.
How did I not take that?
This one hasn't loaded yet. No. Maybe you took it with my phone instead.
Did I take it with yours?
You might have.
I don't know how I would have done that.
Our phones are both exactly the same.
They are. They're exactly the same. I really thought I took a picture of it.
I'm looking. Nope. Well, anyways, just to give you an idea, we looked up the size of one of the tracks that we found, which is approximately 16 inches long.
Yes.
That means this is a size chart correlation. At 16 inches,
yes,
that means the individual would probably be 7'11"
approximately,
and weighed almost 700 pounds.
680 pounds.
Imagine that. But that's all lean. That's lean muscle.
Not to mention that is likely not a fully grown individual.
Oh, and the chest size was 64 inches.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's a full-grown adult, just about.
I mean, when you start to think about this, when you really, because, I've sat and tried to put this together, and you try to imagine it,
That's
in real form.
5.5 feet wide in the chest.
Yes.
Give or take.
That's like me. That's a me. It's insane when you start to think about it. Of course you will. When you start to think about it, the massive scale of this, it's mind-blowing. And I mean, see, this stuff is just the very tip of the iceberg. I mean a very, very damn big iceberg, like Mount Everest size iceberg. When you're talking about this being, and just talking about the size of it, this thing, there is so much more that goes to this, that it's not something that your average person can sit down and try to wrap their mind around. Even I have trouble, and I've been researching this for quite a while. I have trouble wrapping my mind around this and just in imagining this thing. And it's frustrating. At the same time, it's exciting because, when you're out in the woods and you run the risk of of coming upon a bear or a cougar or, even
Which I'm more afraid of, by the way.
an elusive panther. I am too. Or, any number of...
Like it when you're walking around the woods going, doo-doo-doo. Oh,
thank
that's
you.
so pretty.
It is pretty.
That's so pretty. Look at that tree over there. There could be a cougar gnawing her foot off. She'd be like, oh, isn't that just adorable? Look at that. Y'all, come over here and look at that.
He's good at this.
Oh, hi, Mr. Panther. Look at that tree over there. I sound like the old man. That old man from...
from Family Guy. Yeah. Oh, God. Yes. Oh, you mean Joe Biden? Oh, did I say that? Oh.
Burn.
Ouch. Okay. Bad, Cindy. Bad. No, I'm sorry. I'm kidding. Kidding.
Can I bite you?
Yes. Oh, yes, you can. Yes, you can bite me. Whew. So, anyway, when you're imagining these animals, these creatures that we know exist, you got a mental picture about what you could be coming up against. Even if you've never seen it before, we have things, we've got pictures, videos, everybody's seen them. But when you're trying to visualize these other creatures, these beings, John comes at me with this all the time. Well, we got pictures of bears, we got pictures of cougars, things like that. So what is the deal? Like, even though we have never seen in person a bear yet, a cougar yet, we have not seen them. I haven't seen them. And I've been around these parts for a long time. But the big difference is that these things are far more intelligent. Yeah, it is. It's tap, tap, tap. It's a cryptid.
Yeah.
Cryptid coffee. Hey, now there's some.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
See?
Anyways, go ahead. We have pictures of bears and cougars.
So we have some scant ideas, and we have a lot of descriptions about a Sasquatch, Bigfoot, whatever you want to call these things.
Nothing.
But they're far more intelligent than a bear. They're far more intelligent than a cougar. We don't know. We don't know what is connected to their existence. We don't know the scope of their abilities.
Right.
There's so much we don't know, but there's a reason, and we don't know the reason why. But they're extremely elusive. We know that. We also are aware of the fact that there are sightings all over the world all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There are sightings in third world countries. There are sightings in tribes of people that still exist in places that are disconnected from humanity. There are legends of these things.
Yep.
So, it's hard to wrap your mind around exactly what you're looking for.
Right.
So I think, there's so much. You could talk about different aspects of this for every day for a year and probably not cover everything.
Probably.
So there's a lot more that we haven't talked about, but we do this quite often. We're out there looking, listening.
For nothing.
We're searching. We're asking people. We're getting reports. We're getting reports. In fact, we just got told about some sounds that someone had heard, and actually got an audio bit that John got from a friend.
Who got it from a friend.
So
Thank you, Justin.
Yeah, and we got that recently.
Oh man, I wish I could pull it up.
I wish you could too.
Oh, wait a minute. I can play it on the phone. So
yes, you can. Yeah.
It's wicked.
See what you can get from this. We're going to play this clip as best we can. Just hang on. We'll pull it up and we're going to play it and see what you guys think.
It's pretty interesting. So hopefully I can still play it while I put it on the airplane once I don't affect my microphone. But check this out. Just listen. 5 o'clock in the morning. I think it does it again. Yeah. Play it one more time for you. Yeah, how close that is? He's in his tree stand. So I've sent this off to people that I know that hunt. Talked to David about it. And the answer that I keep getting is, I have no idea.
It's crazy.
David Bacara's even said, I get noises all the time and I couldn't tell you what it is. And he goes, I get sounds about just about every animal around here. And he goes, and I get these and I couldn't tell you.
It's weird. It's weird. I even went looking at first. I thought it was something, and I went and looked, and it's not.
It was almost, but no. We thought it was a blue herring, right?
Yeah.
But when you put the two side by side, neither one of them sounds.
No, it's almost like a huffing, like a huffing, sort of. I don't know.
It's loud, though. You hear how close that is?
That's called, in my tree stand, shitting bricks, is what that's called, because...
Yeah, I mean, you probably did hear him.
And the fact that he isn't a hunter, and these guys are used to this stuff, for them to take out their phone and record something like this, there's a reason.
Yeah, in other words, what is that?
Because they've been here their whole lives. They've been doing this their whole lives.
Oh man, these guys down here, they're backwoods. They know the area. You drop them anywhere. They find their way home. It's
Hunting
ridiculous.
in the woods are a religion.
Yep.
And it is taken extremely seriously. And these guys don't go out to hunt for fun. These guys go out to hunt because
to eat.
That's food, and they take it very seriously. And in fact, we had some deer meat the other day.
Thank you, Uncle Ricky.
That's right. So, this is odd, folks. And this time of year around here, things are kicking up.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited because that sort of solidified my theory.
Yeah.
And we've got some other noises that we recorded that are just really odd too.
Yeah.
And we've played some of them for you, but I don't know.
We have no idea what they belong to.
We don't. It's insane. It's crazy. It's exciting. For someone who is so, steeped in the cryptid field, as far as just studying and looking into it, and especially about Sasquatch, Bigfoot, the hairy man. I'm at home base, first of all, and secondly, it's exciting. It's beyond exciting, and being able to do the work and to speak to people who are doing it and learn from them. It's just great, and that's what we're doing, and it's effective. We went on a little impromptu hike yesterday morning. Afternoon, really. Took the dog out for a little walk just to get her some exercise. And there are some times when we're out there and it's just a nice hike. There's nothing. There are other times when you go out and it is just completely different.
Yeah, when you go out there, it's kind of like you don't want to draw too much attention to yourself. So whatever you do here, you turn around and go, do you hear that? You don't make a big deal about it. You just, do you hear that? And it was one of those days where we just turned around and I was like, do you hear that? She's like, yeah, I was just about to ask you. And we could sound what sounded like two 2-inch owls going, but it sounded like almost bird-like, but it was musical at the same time. And it was very rhythmic if you listened to it. And it went on for what,
more than 5 minutes.
10 minutes?
Completely. I mean, continuous. And it was up on the ridge line. We're down in a holler, which is just in between two peaks, two ridges, two ridge lines. And it's a pretty small holler. Not very wide.
Maybe 50 yards wide.
Yeah. And it's got an old road, an old path.
Old mining road.
An old mining path or something that's cut into it. That's been there a long time. And this place is not a place that people go anymore because it's cut off and it's marked as, you can't drive up there. But we just going up there to explore because we do that a lot. And that's something that's pretty necessary when you're doing this. You have to go off the beaten path. You have to. And so we're, not very far off of the Forest Service Road. And it just, the vibe was just very strange. Now, the first thing that I noticed was up on the ridge to our right, there is this grouping of trees. Not trees like in the ground, but these different very tall, very big logs, and they're all sort of interwoven in a teepee-like fashion. And they're tall. These aren't like 8-10 foot tall. These are tall, and they're just woven and perched on one another in a series and up against these two other trees, which are pretty large. And it just doesn't fit in with the rest of the landscape. You can tell that there's just something different about it. Do I look at these and say, oh my God, this is, absolute proof? No. But to me, when I see things like that, it means I need to be aware and keep looking for other things that could be in the area. Some of the things are twist and breaks. And if any of you are any bit familiar with any sort of, assumed evidence, a twist and break is one of those things that, a medium-sized tree, not a huge tree, not a sapling, they're broken anywhere from, 6 to 10 to 15 feet up even. They will be broken, but they're not a normal break. And there's nothing around these trees. There's no other tree, a large fall or anything that could have knocked this down. The tree is twisted. It's twisted because these trees are still soft and they're live trees. This is twisted and broken off. And you have to start asking yourself, now, how the heck did that get that way? Could a person have done it? I mean, when it's obvious and you have to, use a process of elimination when you're looking into this stuff. And when you do that, you start to sort of narrow it down to, okay, this is not natural causes. There are not other trees down like this around. And nothing else could have done this. So something did this, but we don't know what. And once you start to kind of put all these things together, then you start to kind of paint a picture of things, of what could be. And mind you, now this is an area where we've had other experiences. So it's a general area where we've heard something and where we've had something thrown. So we're adding all this stuff up to paint a bigger picture. So we're out there and just exploring and going kind of further in, and going through Mountain Laurel, which is pretty thick stuff, and it's kind of a low growth bush type tree. It's very hardy, and it's it's really thick and shiny leaves because it's only close to water. And so we're going up through here. And there's a point in which we decide to just kind of stop. And the dog was a little bit alerted also. When you're doing this, it's important. We might talk about squatch dogs. To me, it's a good idea if you kind of know what you're doing. You're not, now, this isn't like a coon dog. You're not getting a dog that's going to go hunt a Sasquatch. What you're doing is you're trying to find a dog who knows how to be quiet in the woods, who knows how to be alert, who knows how to make a perimeter instinctively, and knows that they stay with their pack, which is you. They listen to you, they watch your cues, but you watch them as well. You've got to be really in tune with your dog and watch what they do. You're looking for abnormal behavior, them to be on point, looking around, for them not to be wandering, but to be right beside you. Certain stuff you look for, but it's different with every dog. So we use her in that aspect too. It could be anything. It could be a cougar, a bear, a coyote. We don't know.
Yeah, but the dog is going to alert you in one way or another, whether It's time to go or backpedal or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. So we got to a point to where it's like, And then we hear this noise that we spoke about. Now, my first initial, when you hear something that doesn't fit, your first initial reaction is that your brain tries to make sense of what it is. So you're going through this little database you have in your head of the sounds that that you can recognize, that you're familiar with. And at first I'm thinking bird, and I'm like, Johnny, is that a bird? Yeah. And then he's like, it's a bird. And we're listening, and the more we listen, the more we're like,
that's not a bird.
Not sure that it's a bird anymore.
Yeah. There's no way a bird goes on for 10 minutes continuous, because the noise was, and it did that for 10 minutes straight.
And it never wavered.
Stayed the same.
It stayed completely on this rhythm. It was very rhythmic. The dog was close, on point,
looking around,
staring. She was listening hard, sniffing hard, and this just kept going. The only thing that changed about it is it moved further away.
Yeah, it's like it backed up and walked away. Yeah,
and this is in a very close proximity, on the exact ridge line where this structure also happened to be.
What also is interesting too is, at one point, I could hear it louder than her, and she was standing no more than 5 feet away from me.
It was very strange. It was really odd.
I can barely hear it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I can hear it.
And it seemed to me like it was moving further away. And he's like, no, come over here and you'll hear it. By the time I get to him, it sounds like it's starting to move away to him. It's almost like it defied practicality. Yeah. Which you're going to find is the case when you're dealing with these things. There are aspects of it, and there are things that happen that just they defy logic. They just do. And which is more curious, because already it's things you can't explain. It just kind of makes your brain do this weird thing, because you're like, this, you can't wrap your mind around it. It's just not logical. And then people say, well, there are no, these things are not real. There are no, apes. No, but when you're dealing with something that logic does not apply to in practical sense and in a normal sense, then you have to learn to think outside the box with this stuff. You have to learn to take in variables that you wouldn't before. You have to learn to look at things in a different way that you wouldn't look at them before. And you have to learn also to be able to accept possibilities that you wouldn't accept on a normal basis, because there's something about these beings that does not fit with what we feel like it should be. And the more you learn about them, the more your view on them changes. The more you learn, you might think they're one thing, but once you start to really learn, that might go out the window. That's all I'm going to say. It's interesting, and it's much more vast than people think and realize. So, you got to kind of wear different hats when you're doing this stuff. It's not all cut and dry, and you're not chasing a really smart gorilla. I will say that. That's not what we're doing. And we're looking for answers just like anybody else. Or, again, we're not out to prove it. I'm not out to prove it to anybody. I'm doing this because this is something I'm passionate about. And I want to know more. I want an experience. And that's kind of the long and short of it for me. So that's what we do. That's what we're doing as much as we can. And, I mean, I think it's great. It's exciting. It's fun.
Yep.
And the talking about it is not his favorite thing, but
No.
but going out and investigating.
I've kind of made up my mind that I don't really believe that this thing is out there. I've kind of sat down and on a 10-hour shift and really thought about it, and I'm like, I don't really believe it. But instead of saying that, I'm going to say I don't believe it until I see it. So I'm trying to keep an open mind about it. Right now, I'm just kind of like, yeah, whatever. It doesn't exist. Not until I can physically see one. Or capture, have an experience where I capture audio that I can't tell you what it is. Or something's roaring at me from 20 yards away and I can't see it. Until that happens, I shouldn't say it doesn't exist. There is something out there, like I told David today. There is something out there. Whether it's a Bigfoot or not, I don't know.
But again, that's just what we call it.
Right.
That's what we label it, because we as human beings, we have to label things so they make sense to us.
Yeah.
So, we'll try to get some more of our stuff kind of condensed and out there so that we can present more evidence to you, or more data, because it's not evidence. It's definitely data, and we'll try to get some of that stuff to you guys so you can listen to it. So, but John has a very important something he's got to do here in a few. And two, if you look, we're not going to talk about paranormal on this anymore.
I was going to bring that up too.
Yeah. So this is purely strictly cryptid now. I
know we used to talk about our paranormal experiences on here and everything else, but we're not doing that anymore. We're going to keep like Cindy just said, we're going to keep the cryptid files, and the paranormal stance, which is at 7:00, the paranormal stance. So anything that has to do with ghosts and spirits and all that other is going to be discussed on that one. And again, Bigfoot, Dogman, Jersey Devil, you name it, is going to be discussed here.
And everything else, we're separating it. Make it easier for you, make it easier for us. But we want to know your experiences. We want to know your opinions. You guys get with us on this.
So if anybody has a story that they want to share, you can email us at gacryptocrew@gmail.com. We haven't put our email address out there in a long time, but
no, we haven't.
If there's a story you want the audience to hear, you want to keep it anonymous, whatever the case may be, just tell us.
If you
we'll read your story and we'll talk about it.
If you're local and you've had an experience and you need us to come and talk to you about it, or bring it up, or even if you need some advice, we'll try to help you. We know people in the field as well, and it never hurts to bat things around and see what
if we can't help you, we'll get you help.
We'll figure it out. Yeah. So we're here for that as well, and we're more than happy to help. Yep. So you guys send us in your
stories, sounds, anything.
Yeah, anything you got.
Even if it's just something you want to hear about
any cryptid.
It don't matter. It doesn't matter if we've already talked about it.
And later in the year, or maybe we're going to start really delving into Dogman. We're going to get really into that subject. We're just going to dig right into it.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that too. That's coming up pretty soon.
Yeah.
So with that, we're going to sign off for this week. And let John go do his thing.
Yep, better train a newbie tonight.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
Yeah. Good luck, Jonathan.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and welcome, Jonathan.
Yeah.
You don't know what you've stepped into, but... Okay, guys. Maybe. We will be back next week, and we we just want you to know that absence of proof is not proof of absence.
And we'll catch ya.
See ya.